today, I'm going to show you how to create Blood of an Owl, an Herb of Red, our second set of ingredients in our three-part series of the ingredients of the life potion from Hocus Pocus. The things we'll need to create our Herb of Red and Blood of an Owl are 2 glass bottles, and I picked these up at Target. They were in the Bullseye Playground or Dollar Spot, whatever you want to call it, and you got the 2 bottles for $5. Now, we're obviously going to pull off their labels and we're going to put our own on there, but the bottles themselves have a really great shape, so I thought they'd be perfect for this. For the Herb of Red, we are going to use some light-colored jute twine. We're going to use these silk flowers that look like clovers. We're going to use some sandpaper as well as some Distress Oxide and ground espresso. And then for Blood of an Owl, we're going to use the square bottle here, and we are going to use some light corn syrup as well as some red and maybe a tiny bit of brown food coloring. And then we're going to use a red metallic sealing wax hot glue stick, as well as 1 feather. And finally, our labels printed on sticker paper. And the link for this is in the description down below. Let's get started. Would you like a chance to win one of my monthly potion bottles? Then consider supporting me over on Patreon. All of my patrons have a chance to win a monthly potion bottle. Link is in the description down below. So as you can see, I removed the labels off of both of these bottles, and now I'm going to take some sandpaper to both of these to scratch and age them up. So now that these are both scratched up, I'm going to take some of the Distress Oxide and go over at least this one. I may not go over this one, we'll see. And to put the Distress Oxide on here, I'm actually going to use a paper towel. Sometimes I'll use the little felt pads like we use for alcohol ink, but for this one, I think I just want to use a paper towel to apply it. And basically, this is going to just kind of add a little bit of a film to the glass, and it also will get into those crevices that we made. And as you can see, it just kind of aged it up and added a little bit of a vintage vibe to the glass. And we're going to go ahead and do the other one too. Okay, so I'm purposefully not doing as much on this one. I just wanted to add a little bit. So I'm going to move the bottle out of the way for the herb that's red. And we're going to work on our owl's blood. So to do that, it's going to be really similar to when we made dragon's blood or vampire's blood, anything like that. We're going to use some corn syrup. And I'm putting this into a piping bag so that I can mix it in the piping bag. And also, it will help get into that tiny neck of the bottle. Okay, so now I'm going to add some of our red food coloring. And I'm going to mix that up. And I definitely need to add some more. And I'm going to add just a drop of brown. You could also add just a tiny bit of blue, and that would give you, like a little bit more of a blood color, but honestly, the brown works just as good to just kind of deepen the red just a little bit. So I'm going to pull this bag up and just make sure I can do a little bit of hand mixing here. Just to make sure that everything is incorporated really well and we don't have any clear corn syrup hanging out in the bag. And I think that's all mixed pretty good, and I think we have a decent color here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors, and first I'm going to try to get some of this away from the tip. And I'm just going to cut a tiny hole here. And I'm going to feed this into the neck of this bottle since the neck is pretty narrow. And then we're just going to squeeze it in. I I think that is a really good amount. It's not all the way full, but it's not too little. I think it's just perfect. I'm going to cap this up. And for this one, I'm going to plug my hot glue gun in here. And while that's heating up, we're going to go ahead and put our label on. So for this label, like I always do, I printed it on sticker paper, and then I went around the outside edge with a dark brown to kind of add a little bit of like a burnt look to the edge to go with the red that we already have on there. So let's get this straight. Perfect. We've got our little Blood of an Owl label on there now. And we're going to see where our glue gun is. For this one, I am using a red sealing wax hot glue, which heats up much faster than standard hot glue. So you don't want to let this sit too terribly long, because you'll end up with like really, really, really drippy glue, and that's not always a good thing. And then while my glue is still wet, I wanted to add just one feather up here to the top. I thought it would be a little bit morbid, but at the same time, like, add a little whimsical touch to it. And once our glue dries and our little feather is on, we have our Blood of an Owl. So for our herb of red, when I did some research, I found out that they used to call clover, particularly the flowers, herb of red. And it made me go, because a lot of times those flowers are like a pink or a purple. But I went to Michael's, and they actually had these that are like a maroony burgundy color, but they look just like clover. So I thought, oh, this will be perfect. So we're going to load some of them in here. I've got some little trimmers here, and I'm basically just going to cut some of these off, and we're going to feed them into the bottle. And I think that looks pretty good, because we really just want it to look like we went out, collected some herbs, and threw them into our bottle here. I might add just a couple more leaves. Okay, and I think that feels really good. We're going to cork that up. And then for this one, we're going to use some light colored jute twine. So we're going to wrap this just like we have so many others. Perfect. And then I'm actually going to take a lighter, and this helps kind of get rid of those little wispy edges on our cording, and it ages it up a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Please do this under adult supervision. Okay, and that just kind of gave us a little bit of a aged look and got rid of those extra little wispies. So for these bottles from Target, they have a flat edge a lot of times for the label. So I made sure to make the label the correct size for that. And I think that's gonna do it for our herb of red. And there we have it, our third and fourth ingredients in our life potion, blood of an owl and herb of red. Stay tuned. Next week we will have the last two ingredients, which will be a dash of pox and a dead man's toe. And if you didn't catch oil of boil and Newt saliva, I will put a card up above that will take you to that video. And I'll also put a link to my life potion video from a couple years ago that's also featured in my book, The Wizard's Craft Book. And you'll want to tune in each week so that you have a chance to win a special giveaway at the end of my third video. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.